Hey everybody, Ramey here, and today what I want to talk about is what you do when your students do not have access to the internet or they don't have a computer, but your school has been forced to go online because of this coronavirus. What are you supposed to do? What can a teacher do? What can a district do? What are you supposed to do? You know, colleges are much better set up for this because a lot of them already have online learning platforms. Their students are used to it. But in the K-12 world, you know, you do have some districts where, of course, every student's going to have internet and computer at home and it's not a big deal. In fact, that's pretty much how my son's districts are. You know, all the parents have that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of districts, even in my city, where this is totally not the case. And my district does not have enough resources to give all students their own computer or tablet. Even though, you know, internet services are, for the coronavirus, are giving students like free access to the internet during the school day, that doesn't help when you don't have a computer or phone that has internet. You know, the kids just don't have it. So what are you supposed to do? What are some of your options? I'm going to talk about some options. Some of these are kind of easy. I don't think it's that difficult. It's just not necessarily ideal, because the ideal situation is that you are in a school, you're a teacher where all of your students have computers at home, all of them have internet, you know, they probably all have video equipment, like at least a camera on their laptop or something like that, a microphone, you can have like online learning and stuff like that. Not a big deal. But when you're in one of those districts where that's not the case, where maybe like a couple students or half your class just does not have this kind of access, what are you supposed to do? Okay. So let's go back in time a little bit. Let's actually go back in time to the 1800s. So distance education is not like this new thing that came about when the internet was created. We've actually had distance education since the 1800s. Believe it or not, you know, the time of like the Pony Express, like in the 1800s, the first distance education courses were created. They were all done through snail mail. Now, became popular again with newspapers and television and radio in the mid 1900s. Then, you know, we started to get like these, if you were around in the 70s and 80s, they had these big compact discs, like looked like CDs. They were huge, looked like a record. But we've had these distance and correspondence courses for many, many, many years. So my number one recommendation to you, if you are a teacher or you're a school district and you do not have, students just don't have a computer, they're not going to have a tablet, they don't have internet, they don't have like 10 things. Like I have 3 computers in my house. We have 2 phones that we're using and multiple old phones. But, you know, obviously that's not the case if you're watching this video. So what do? My suggestion for you, and you can do this in multiple different ways, is that you go back and create one of those old school correspondence distance ed courses where maybe you go into your school or you do it from home and you print off all the materials the student needs and you deliver them to their house. Maybe they have CD players, so maybe it's all delivered via DVD, whatever the media is that you choose to use. I think that's your only option. I think that's your best option. I've seen some school districts right now trying to use like TV, like getting ahead in touch with their local channels, like their local PBS station, and being able to utilize that during the school day. But again, maybe not everyone has a TV. I wouldn't necessarily rely on anything right now when you're dealing with students that are very limited in what they have. I think the best option is to actually create your lessons, give them their work. Yes, it's not going to be on video. Yes, it's not going to be beautiful PowerPoint or whatever it is that you're using, but they're going to be able to learn and they're going to be able to do it. We've been doing this for well over 100 some years. So it can be done well. You have to print everything off. I know, huge pain. It is not fun to print a bunch of things and try to organize them. Not fun. And you have to have someone to be able to deliver it to all the students' houses. Next big pain. But this might be your only option, and I know it's not like what everyone wants to hear, but I don't see any other way around it. And I think it's actually not a bad option. Besides the printing, which is a big pain, and the delivering it to their houses, which is a big pain, but you got to think like they should be, someone at the school should be within that city to be able to effectively do this, and the school might have to work that out. but I don't really see any other option. It allows those students to continue, and yes, someone's going to probably have to pick up that work at a certain time. This might be something that's done multiple times now that we're talking about school being out for a year. So you probably want to give a student, depending on the grade, how much feedback do you need to give them? How long can they work? It's going to be quite a challenge, but I just don't see any other way around it. And I think it's the only way we're going to get some of these students through this school year. The next most unfortunate thing that you're going to run into is what happens when the student has questions. Are they going to have access to you via phone? Are they going to have a phone? If they don't have internet and computer, are they going to have some type of communication with their teacher because their parents might not be able to do that? So this is another large challenge that schools are going to run into. But I think that the biggest challenge right now is getting the students the content is step one. And I think it's the first step. The first thing you need to think about is how do we get them this content? And print, deliver. We're thinking of when I heard that schools are trying to utilize TV, I thought that was a really cool option, but I'm thinking in my head, are students going to watch it? What are they really going to get from this? Wouldn't it be easier just to print everything off and get it to them? Maybe that's an easier, we don't always have to look at the most advanced option. Sometimes the simple option is actually the easiest. And that's my recommendation for what we're going to have to do to get through this school year. Thank you very much.